Hey everyone, it's Souls again, and today I'm going to be talking about all of my main OCs, so people can actually understand what's going on in the animations I post on my channel. Most of my main OCs all exist together in a single universe called Legends of Agile. This video will be discussing that world as a sort of introduction to it. I can't share too much as to avoid spoilers, but I think it'd be nice to share the basic idea of the story with the world so that people can actually have an idea of what's going on in my OC animations. The main storyline takes place on a planet called Felon, consisting of 9 oceans with 3 major continents and various islands. One of these oceans, known as the Amobic Ocean, has a small island in it known as Adril by its inhabitants. This is where the main story takes place. To the far north is the Thunder Peak mountain range, and right south of that is the Adrilian Desert. To the far northwest lies the volcanic region, and to the south lies the woodlands and the marshlands. To the far east is the Adrilian tundra, and in the middle of the island is the grasslands. To the west lies the Basquine coast bordering the Adrilian Bay, home to various aquatic creatures. The planet Felon is unique so that it orbits around a star which orbits around another larger star. When both stars are on one side of the planet, 2 suns will appear in the sky during the day and one at night. When both stars are on one side of the planet, 2 suns will appear in the sky during the day and none at night. However, when the planet is between both stars, 1 sun will appear during the day and 1 will appear during the night. The night star is dimmer and further away than the day star, so while the night will be brighter during these strange seasons, it will remain in a dusk-like state. Because of this, when the planet enters these strange seasons, the inhabitants of Agile refer to it as Everdusk season. There are 2 Everdusk seasons per year, one occurring during the summer and one occurring during the winter. Now that we've gotten the day-night cycle out of the way, it's time to move on to some more interesting aspects of the lore. This part is very complicated to explain, so I'll go ahead and read off some of the notes I've taken over the course of my time developing the story. Souls. The universe is infinite and everlasting in this world. The separation between life and death is an illusion. The separation between the physical world and invisible forces, such as dark energy and magic, is also an illusion. Everything is one with the universe and itself. The separation between life and death, physical and spiritual, etc., are all illusions created by the minds of this world. Physical bodies are mere vessels. They work in such a way that allows you to be conscious and aware. This awareness or individuality is also an illusion. Once you die, you aren't ceasing to exist. You still exist, but you aren't an individual anymore. You become one with the universe, just like you always have been and always will be. But now there is no longer the illusion that you were ever separate from it. Basically, pantheism is somewhat canon in this universe. These illusions are perceived by souls. Bodies function as molds. Once they are created, if they are biologically advanced enough, a soul will begin to develop inside it. Things like plants and bacteria, although they are technically living organisms, are not truly alive because they do not have a soul or a consciousness. Interestingly, even after bodies perish, their souls can still live on. As stated before, bodies in this universe function as molds. They form souls, but after your soul is molded within your body, it can survive outside the body for an extended period of time. Basically, your soul, the very accumulation of your being, will become independent from your body after death. Once your soul becomes permanently independent from your body, it is no longer referred to as a soul, but rather as a spirit. However, it will eventually fade back into the universe. The longer you live and the longer time your soul is molded, the longer your afterlife will be, but after an extended period of time, you will fade and dissipate into the beyond as if you were never there. Realms. Realms in this world are pockets of reality that are shaped into existence similarly to how souls are formed into individuals within physical bodies. However, rather than physical bodies forming these hidden worlds, they are shaped by the collective consciousness of deceased spirits. When a living creature dies, their soul, becoming a spirit, will leave their body and join whichever realm matches their being. For example, if a civilization is created and many past generations have passed away, their spirits may collectively form an afterlife together with their minds. These afterlives are realms and function as a mirror to the living world within the minds of the dead. However, they are not mere hallucinations. They are very real and possess real properties and magic. Souls separated only by their physical bodies are deeply connected to the vast universe surrounding them. After their bodies die, once the barrier of mortality breaks, their minds have a great influence over the world surrounding them, and when deceased communities come together, they are more than capable of creating thriving afterlives. Realms usually take a very long time to develop. Infant realms often exist as a chaotic whirl of forming energy without concrete locations or properties. However, over time, they will eventually solidify into a healthy, thriving afterlife, if all goes well. As stated before, realms are like mirrors reflecting the living world in the minds of spirits. As such, they will function similarly to the living world while also possessing unique properties and magic that would not usually apply to the living world without magical interference. Because of this, realms will often create their own ecosystems within them, birthed from the minds of the dead. These ecosystems, depending on the state of the realm, can be incredibly simple or incredibly complicated. Some realms have only plants and simple organisms like bacteria and such, while others have thriving ecosystems with a wide variety of fantastical creatures. Most realms are like this, and their creatures are known as everlasters because they cannot die. However, they can reproduce, allowing realms to constantly expand and grow if they are healthy. Although the reproduction of everlasters is usually much slower in comparison to the natural reproduction of the living world. Everlasters can range from simple-minded primitive beasts to intelligent beings capable of powerful magic, serving as the guardians of their realm. If a realm becomes advanced enough, it may develop multiple realms within it, becoming a realm system. Adril is the prime example of this, having one realm for each Adrillian nation and a single realm that connects them all together, known as the Realm Nexus, or the Nexus Realm. The Beyond. The world outside these realms is known as the Beyond. Because it is not shaped by the minds of spirits or the physical properties of the living world, it exists as a chaotic world of energy and magic that cannot be fathomed by perfectly solidified minds. Solitary, non-social creatures and creatures without fully developed souls will often wind up here in this rapidly shifting turmoil of magic and energy after death. Young developing infant realms often share similar properties to the Beyond as they are still forming from it. The living world. The living world in this universe is very similar to the living world in real life. It consists of stars, galaxies, etc., and the main story of Agile takes place on a planet known as Felon, consisting of 9 oceans and 3 major continents. The story unfolds specifically in the Amobic Ocean, or the Amobic Ocean, on Agile, an island widely known as the Cursed Lands in other civilizations due to its strange, corrupting tendencies that change and shift how the world works. This corruption is caused by the abundance of dark energy in the Adrillian realms, which was taken advantage of by a powerful council looking to use it to take control of the living world. Alright, so that's that. That's all the notes I have so far on how the universe itself works, although I might add more later. I'm thinking of adding reincarnation and other cool things like that to the world at some point. Moving on, Adril has 6 different intelligent races inhabiting its environment. The Flintikin, the Frostkin, the Marshkin, the Oalar, the Scarix, and the Aquan. The Flintikin roam the northern deserts of Adril. They are known for their rich culture and their involvement with other nations. The Frostkin, meanwhile, have a very military-like culture, prioritizing skill, strength, and loyalty above all else. They are very prideful and inhabit the Adrillian tundra, where it gets the coldest. They can also generate ice crystals from their body at will. The Marshkin appear to be very similar to the Frostkin, sharing very similar characteristics, although rather than living in the tundra, they live in the southern Adrillian marshlands. They are exceptionally skilled in magic using and healing. They have the unique ability to grow plants and vegetation from their skin. The Oalar are a bird-like people who can fly and specialize in fire magic. They live in giant treehouse fortresses in the Adrillian woodlands. Also, in the modern age, they can fly massive airships, commonly referred to as cities of the sky. They are very independent and mostly do what's convenient for them. They don't care what the other Adrillian nations think of them and will only participate in war and trade if it benefits them. Garrics are a barbaric race of lizard-like people living in huge strongholds in the Adrillian grasslands. They, similar to the Frostkin, prioritize strength and loyalty above all else. They are very warlike, and honor and loyalty is highly respected in their culture. The Aquan are a unique race, as they are aquatic and mostly spend their time underwater. They can breathe and survive on land, however, if they go for too long without water, they will become dehydrated and die. They can survive in both freshwater and saltwater, and use echolocation to communicate with one another while underwater. They are especially skilled in architecture, building elaborate underwater cities and palaces that put most other Adrillian structures to shame. However, they have been exiled from Adril as they were deemed responsible for the tragedy that took place 1,000 years ago that marked the end of the tribal era, and now their massive palaces and vast underwater cities lie abandoned at the seafloor of Adril's western bay. As for the timeline, Adril's history is divided into 2 main eras, the tribal era and the new era. The new era currently has 4 different ages: the New Dawn Age, the Middle Age, the Pre-Modern Age, and the Modern Age. Each age has a new era that lasts about 250 years, equating to about 1,000 years for the eras as a whole. Agile's current age, the modern age, has lasted about 150 years, meaning that the new era has lasted roughly 900 years so far. Moving on to the story itself, the main storyline takes place during the modern age of Agile's history, long after the Aquans have been exiled. The separate Adrillian nations have gone through several wars during the tribal era and have since formed a truce, vowing to never fight amongst themselves again. However, this truce has recently been broken, and the wars have restarted. Once every 20 years, there will be an exceptionally harsh winter known as the Great Winter. Yes, a very creative name, I know. That just seems to grow harsher and harsher each time it comes around. Nobody knows why this happens, other than that it just started 900 years ago when the truce was first put into place. Since then, the Adrillians have worked together to survive these harsh conditions over the course of many, many years. However, resources are growing scarce, and the Adrillians have broken the ancient truce and resorted to fighting for themselves rather than working together. So, that's the basic overview of Legends of Agile. I'll probably go into more detail in future videos because there's a lot more to cover, but for now this seems like a good basic introduction to the story. I hope you enjoyed this video and stay tuned for later videos discussing my OCs.